while the West and Ukraine were trying to recover from yesterday's missile attack on the Poltava Institute of Military Communications, where, according to preliminary data, about 600 Ukrainian servicemen and foreign military instructors were killed and seriously injured, Russia launched another massive missile attack on this Eastern European country. So, on the night of September 4, 2024, independent monitoring services began to record dozens of explosions almost throughout Ukraine. The air alert sounded in almost all major cities of the northern, central, southern, and even western parts of Ukraine. This time, Russian missiles managed to destroy dozens of military installations of the Ukrainian army and NATO forces in the Dnipropetrovsk, Odessa, Lviv, Volyn, Sumy, Kyiv, and Kharkiv regions. It is reliably known that during this missile attack, Russia used dozens of Tu-95MS and Tu-22M3 strategic bombers, armed with dozens of cruise missiles of various types. In addition, dozens of warships of the Black Sea Fleet of the Russian Federation, armed with hundreds of caliber cruise missiles, also took part in this massive missile attack on Ukraine. Moreover, during this missile attack, Russia also used dozens of MiG-31 supersonic interceptor fighters, armed with dozens of KINZHAL hypersonic missiles. Sources in the Russian military department also confirmed that upgraded Iskander-M ballistic missiles with an increased range were also involved in this missile attack. So, in the Dnipropetrovsk region, a Russian ballistic missile hit and destroyed a hotel in the southwestern part of the city of Kryvyi Rog. It is reliably known that a few hours before this missile attack, about 50 Ukrainian soldiers and about 30 foreign mercenaries from Poland and France arrived at this hotel. As it turned out, General Sersky planned to transfer them to the Pokrovsk direction of the front, to strengthen the grouping of the Ukrainian army in the city of Pokrovsk. However, these plans of the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Ukraine were not destined to come true. As it turned out, as a result of the direct hit of the hotel, about 40 Ukrainian soldiers and about 20 foreign mercenaries were killed. It is reported that the remaining militants were seriously injured. In the Sumy region, near the settlement of Novy Baysy, a Russian ballistic missile Iskander-K destroyed about 100 Ukrainian militants, 5 units of armored combat vehicles, 8 units of military trucks, and 7 units of pickups. The footage clearly shows how a Russian missile hits directly into the center of an accumulation of enemy manpower. Later, a Russian reconnaissance drone filmed dozens of corpses of Ukrainian soldiers. As it turned out, these soldiers were preparing to be sent to the Kursk region. In the Kyiv and Volyn regions, in cities such as Lutsk and Kyiv, Russian KINZHAL hypersonic missiles struck and destroyed 2 classified decision-making centers. In the Kharkiv region, caliber cruise missiles destroyed 3 armories of the Ukrainian army, which contained thousands of 155mm artillery shells and several hundred missiles for multiple launch rocket systems. In the Odessa region, a Russian hypersonic missile struck and destroyed an underground warehouse in the southern part of the city of Odessa. According to preliminary data, dozens of American ATACMS ballistic missiles were stored in this warehouse. In the Lviv region, in the city of Lviv, Russian KINZHAL hypersonic missiles hit several objects. In particular, the largest locomotive depot in Ukraine near the Lviv-Glavny railway station was completely destroyed on September 4, 2024, at 5 a.m. Moscow time. Moreover, at the time of the missile strike, there was a NATO military train that arrived from Poland with another military cargo for the armed forces of Ukraine. My friends, let me remind you that this Lviv railway station is the main transport and logistics hub that regularly transports NATO weapons and ammunition from the Polish city of Rzeszów to Ukraine. In the last 20 days alone, NATO has sent about 15 military trains with various types of weapons and foreign mercenaries through this Polish city to Ukraine. At the same time, it is worth noting that this Lviv railway station was guarded around the perimeter by the best Western air defense systems. It is reliably known that to protect this transport and logistics hub, the NATO leadership has deployed 5 units of Italian SAMP-T anti-aircraft missile systems, 3 units of German Iris-T SLM medium-range ground-based air defense systems, and 2 units of American Patriot missile long-range air defense systems. However, as subsequent events have shown, even these best Western air defense systems were not able to shoot down a hypersonic missile KINZHAL. In addition, the Russian military also destroyed the Hotel Villa Sofia in Lviv. It is reported that at the time of the missile strike, the Ukrainian military and so-called foreign mercenaries were in this hotel. According to preliminary data, as a result of this missile strike, 30 Ukrainian soldiers and 15 officers of the Polish army were killed. It is reported that these Polish officers were in the status of military instructors in the city of Lviv. In addition, the Russian military also destroyed an abandoned house located on Antonovich Street, near school number 17. As it turned out, the Ukrainian army used this abandoned house as a warehouse for NATO-supplied weapons. The fact that the Ukrainian High Military Command decided to store Western weapons near the school where children study, once again confirmed that the Ukrainian generals are ready for any meanness to achieve their goals. In general, observing such a successful Russian missile attack, which resulted in the destruction of dozens of enemy targets in northern, eastern, southern, and even western Ukraine, it becomes clear that the effectiveness of Russian military intelligence has doubled. Until today, Ukrainian and NATO generals considered the Lviv region to be the safest place in the country. However, the Russian missile attack that occurred on September 4, 2024, made it clear to the Ukrainian and NATO generals that there are no safe places in Ukraine for Ukrainian nationalists and foreign mercenaries where they could hide from Russian ballistic, cruise, and hypersonic missiles. By the way, commenting on such a successful Russian missile attack on Ukraine, the American newspaper The New York Times admitted that this missile attack further demoralized Ukrainian soldiers, especially given the fact that the Ukrainian army continues its rapid retreat in the Donbass. According to the American newspaper, this missile attack on Ukraine once again showed the whole world the full firepower of the Russian armed forces.